So I was reading in the Port Townsend paper about Mayor David Faber saying that. All right, well, I'm going to just do my interpretation of it. So, Mayor David Faber here. You see, we need some affordable housing. Well, how come we need the affordable housing? Well, we need workforce housing. Well, how come we need that? Well, the wealthy people of Port Townsend, they're getting older and they're retiring, and they're going to need some of them their, slaves to take care of them. No. The retirees in Port Townsend are going to need people to service them. To have service jobs. So we need to create affordable housing so that the slaves can live there and take care of the wealthy of Port Townsend. So, Faber wants to use part of the golf course to create affordable housing. So he wants to upzone it for other agendas. We'll talk about it in another video. Anywho, Faber's like, the Port Townsend residents who we like and who got these really expensive homes, they're going to need people to service them. They're getting older and they're retiring. So instead of using city property to create, maybe computer labs, a computer cafe, people can go and use film to make movies and content and create maybe products and writing and all kinds of online content to monetize it, right? Because people make big money gaming. Why don't you set up a building for gamers? People make hundreds of thousands of dollars gaming. This 17-year-old I knew was making $300,000 a year talking about makeup, right? But we need to build we need to build low-income housing for people that we can keep their wages down and keep them in low income and keep them in these houses. That's not empowering to people. Creating long-term affordable housing. And he worded it in the paper. He actually worded it, create housing for service people. Okay, I've seen him talk about it before. They call it workforce housing or whatever. Who are going to be your restaurant slaves? Who are going to be your store slaves? Who's going to wipe your butt and bring in your wood? Right? Like, that's the kind of jobs that people who live in affordable housing want. No, they don't want those jobs. They have to have those jobs because that's all that they can find. Okay? Creating something to keep people oppressed and then calling yourself, well, we care about the little people. And we care about people who need affordable housing. They wouldn't need affordable housing if you weren't already taxing them to death and oppressing them. You run the buskers out of town. You run the cool art people. Faber can't stand hippies, can't stand small farms, but we're supposed to trust him. Well, yeah, affordable housing, that's a good thing. I think affordable housing, be good workforce housing. He's full of shit. He's not genuine. If you have city property, you have even a couple acres, you can do anything you want with. That would empower people. Building something where people could go to have fast internet, have use of cameras, use of video equipment, use of computers, use of maybe green screens, collaborate with each other, have little private rooms, have places to film movies. It's a new economy, Mr. fucking Faber. The internet. Did you ever hear of the internet? People can do videos about nothing at all. Do videos about their life, what they're doing, and make a lot of money. Have a place for people to go and use different music instruments and sing and do content. Online content, they create tons of money, okay? But you want to create affordable housing, which, in essence, it sounds like, oh, that's a good thing. But when he words it as service jobs, because, well, the masters are retiring and they're going to need the slaves for those service jobs. No fucking thank you, Mr. fucking Faber. Mr. Attorney, Mr. Get a grant here, get a grant there, everything's all about him and he's the king of Port Townsend. Meanwhile, he's a little bit, cuckoo. Calls himself a social masochist, right? Calls women he doesn't like TERFs and Nazis and bigots. Calls himself, I am Mr. Diversity. But what I mean by diversity is, well, I don't mean liberals I don't like. I don't mean lesbians if I don't like them. I don't mean people that I don't like. I only mean people I do like. See? I just thought it was kind of icky. I thought it was icky reading in the paper that he wants housing because the Port Townsend important people, see, the prominent people say they're getting older and they're retiring, and they're going to need you to be their motherfucking slave, right? If you want to take care of people and you love it, great, right? But creating low-income housing so you can create low-income jobs for some people being slaves for other people, it's kind of fucking sick. That's just what I think. So let me give you a little bit of a reality check, Mr. fucking Faber. Okay? AI, you ever heard of it? Robots. Okay? So your little group of Port Townsend retirees that need slaves, okay, here's what they can do. They can get themselves a fucking robot, okay, to wipe their ass. They can get a robot to do their shopping. They can get Amazon delivery. They can use robots and use new technology to take care of themselves, okay? While the people will actually be out there living their lives and be on like probably some sort of basic income, and then even maybe creating movies and creating all sorts of things. And they'll be so free and so happy. They'll want to go and visit older people, and there'll be functions, and these retirees can go and everybody can love each other and be equal. Okay? Creating a community of love and support with each other and not a us and them, right? So he's acting like, I'm Mr. David Faber, and, you know, I'm really for the little people. And he's creating with his rhetoric an us and them. He's creating a master slave class. Okay, that's not okay. This is 2024, for fuck's sake. You know, people make a good living on TikTok yammering about anything at all, and he wants to create housing for the people that he keeps oppressed in slave jobs. It's not okay. It's not cool and groovy. You know, we want to create workforce housing. Okay. But what if you just created places for people to get out of the mundane, depressive, oppressive slave job workforce and not have those slave jobs anymore? Well, no, we got to have some service people. We got to have people wiping each other's ass. We got to have some people taking care of these retirees. No, we don't. Okay. People who are high consciousness and healthy, people who don't, you know, trust big pharma and do the, you know, they live like in their 80s and then they'll just die. I mean, look at example, wonderful, beautiful, amazing Laura Martin, okay, in Port Townsend. She took care of herself. She laughed and played and danced and walked the streets until her last breath in her garden, and she didn't need a slave. Okay? If you promote good health and not big pharma and big government and natural cures, which Faber doesn't like, and small farms, which Faber doesn't like, and the hippie lifestyle, which Faber doesn't like, and buskers downtown, which Faber doesn't seem to like, if you promoted all that, these retirees wouldn't need someone to wipe their ass and clean up after them, okay? They wouldn't need the slave jobs and the service jobs because they could take care of themselves, okay? So, yeah, affordable housing sounds nice in theory, but what the fuck does it mean in practicality? What does affordable housing mean? I mean, rent in Port Townsend is so freaking high. And the Port Townsend government's like, rent's so high, we got to create affordable housing. Then they fucking tax the fucking landowner to death, so they have to raise the rent. And then they go, I'm a victim, you're a victim, let's get affordable housing and let's get all these grants. Oh my God, we just got $1 million grant. I seen it in the plan a couple years ago. Let's spend $600,000 on a mental health facility. Whee! More money for us, more taxes for us. And they all are so fucking incestual, right? They have a job at the health board. They have a job at the planning board. They all go from each job to each job for like year after year after year. They stay in their own little party. And then they also go to other little things online and get things to blackmail each other. They're this big incestual mess. So don't believe Faber's bullshit. We're going to create affordable housing so that we can have service people. If they were sincere, they'd quit fucking taxing the landlords to death and making it so hard for them to actually have rentals. And they would quit sales tax, every tax, this tax, and making it ridiculous and then going, oh my God, there's no housing. Oh my God, we need jobs for the slaves. We need workforce housing. They're full of shit. Just saying. Favor is a creepy snake. Don't trust him.